So it's a funny thing because as we come into this today, and we've gotten some pretty good macro data that shows us that inflation is slowing. It's amazing just how fast we flip from everything is going to collapse and the market is not going to recover, and we're in another 4-year or 3-year bear market to all of a sudden now everybody's bullish. It's amazing. And it's also one of the things that we talked about just 2 days ago. Listen to this from what I talked about just on where do you think we could go? How low can we go? I mean, we could skyrocket to 110,000. Nobody has any idea. But I'm just saying, I think we could go lower, especially as the market keeps freaking out about these treasury yields, about these economic numbers that come in, about unemployment reducing, and about non-farm payrolls just came out, which massively exceeded expectations. That could happen again, or we could do the exact opposite, and we could have unemployment skyrocket. And then all of a sudden, people are like, great, unemployment's going up, Fed's going to cut the rates, more quantitative easing, back to the bull market. It happens just like that. Yeah, it happens just like that. And like nothing ever changes, it seems like. We kind of lose sight of the things that are going on, but that was just 2 days ago. And I saw it, we saw it 2-3 months ago. We saw it 6 months ago. We saw it in the bear market where everybody's like, okay, this is the new norm. Bitcoin's going to be below 30,000. It's going to be awful. It's going to be terrible. And then all of a sudden just snaps like that. And then here we go. So when we move forward, I mean, what happened? Why is it today? And of course, we can talk that and say that, well, there's no narrative, but there's a narrative today and it makes a lot of sense. It comes down to the markets are rallying. And the reason is because a macro indicator, inflation has cooled. S&P 500 rockets alongside easing December CPI data. The S&P 500 rocketed 1.6% alongside positive economic data, including the December Consumer Price Index showing inflation easing. And man, let me tell you, it sure did. Bitcoin touched around 99,005 almost, 99.4. We almost hit 100K. But of course, the powers that be that will not let us hit 100K for quite some time, who knows? They took their profits and it's been a battle, but here we are. And we can just see that over like the last, just the top 5. Take a look at the top 5. What do you see for the 30-day? Bitcoin's down 7.5%. Ethereum's down 17.5%. BNB is down 3%. Going down to Solana is down 10%. Dogecoin 10%. Cardano's down 4%. And Lidos Tech down 15%. Same thing. What do you notice about one thing here? XRP. I want to say congratulations again to the XRP holders. Because they hung through probably the worst, most brutal bear market I could possibly imagine because of the guy that's going to step down, Gary Gensler. And they're up 16% in 30 days, 27% in 7. And just for today in 24 hours, 8.7. And I believe they breached $3 or around $2.99. So again, these are good things. Market's up. Now everybody's super bullish. But we're only bullish until the next narrative comes along, some macro piece of data comes in, some ruling of some court case that is negative, or there's another uncertainty in a certain region, everything starts to collapse. The reason why I'm telling you guys this again is because it keeps happening over and over and over. Just stay the course, stick around. You're going to like where we're going. I still say 2025 is going to be a massive year. It is the bull run we should have gotten in 2021, but we got screwed out of it because the FTX, the Celsius, the Voyager, the BlockFi, the Three Arrows Capital that were manipulating things behind the background. This is the real bull run. So we can see that even the S&P is doing pretty good today, up a whopping 1.5%. Congratulations to all the equity holders. I hold little things, but not too much. Over 1 day, 5 days, 1 month, that's a good 6 months and 1 year. Still looking pretty good. So I'm liking where we are going. So what does this all come down to? CPI data, right? But this is from Simon Dixon. He says, hey, U.S. inflation rises to 2.9%. Remind me why the Fed has been cutting again. Again, it comes down to why does the Fed cut? Do they have to cut? I mean, if inflation is going up, it doesn't make much sense, right? I mean, essentially, rate cuts are inflationary. If they wanted to control inflation even to a greater extent, they would be raising rates or at least doing nothing. However, that is just one part of the equation. If we take a look at Market Watch, as of Wednesday, January 15th, things did come in below expectations. On 8:30, we had the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, which is a whole basket of different things. Let's see if I can pull this up. And we can see, let's see, recent Yeah. And we can see that for last time, we're looking at 0.3%, 0.3. And actually, the consumer price index actual rose 0.4%. Right there, that's what it is. How about CPI year over year? And this is what Simon was talking about. It's true. Last year, excuse me, the previous, so last year, over a year, 2.7. Expectation was 2.9. It did hit 2.9. So you're telling me the market's going to rally because we hit expectations even though it rose a little bit? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So the markets are a funny thing. It's just pretty much how it is. And then when people say, well, what about the fundamentals and what about what's going on and so on and so forth? I'm like, yeah, I get it, but that's just what it is. And now we take a look at core CPI. First of all, what's the difference between core CPI and CPI? Just know that CPI takes a look at a whole basket of economic factors, food, medical care, recreation, goods and services, transportation, housing and apparel. But core CPI, it takes out food and energy, which is essentially one of the more volatile aspects of the economy. And I just want to take a look at the core CPI. What do they see today? Well, hey, here's why the market rallied. You went from 3.3% previous year over year. And then the expectation was 3.3, but it was actually 3.2. That's it. And then, of course, core CPI 0.3 is over there 0.2. So the Fed's going to give a lot of weight to more so of the core CPI as opposed to the CPI. The market's going to give that more weight, and that's why we rally. But again, I'm telling you right now, what's going to happen is that there's going to be some other economic data points going to come out. The market's going to crash, or have a big pullback. And then people are going to lose their mind. And I'm going to make a video exactly like this one talking about why is everybody freaking out? Why aren't you looking at it for the long term? And it's just going to keep happening over and over again. And then hopefully you realize, and I think you have because you're watching this right now, that things are going to be just fine. So 2025, again, I think it's going to be a very big year. We'll see how it plays out. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And also some more good news. I'm bullish on the market itself, not so bullish on the macro because things are just so volatile in that situation. And of course, we just saw what happens with the market itself. But government, I'm actually bullish on the government. And congratulations to Tom Emmer. He's a GOP majority whip out of Minnesota, 6th District. He's been selected to be the vice chair of the subcommittee on digital assets. That's going to be a thing. I think this is from the banking committee, and this will be a subcommittee within Congress. And that's digital assets, financial tech, and artificial intelligence. If you know Tom Emmer, he has been a vocal pro-bull of the crypto markets, the digital assets. So there's nobody better, I think, than Tom, unless you get Cynthia Lummis, which I think she's also a part of this as well. I think she is not the vice chair, but the chair. And he states, with President Trump in the White House and Gary Gensler confined to the waste bin of Washington. That's why I like Tom. We have an excellent opportunity to ensure that the future of digital assets is guided by Americans with American values. I look forward to working with Chairman Rep. French Hill, Brian Steele, and the rest of our colleagues to foster an environment where digital asset innovations can thrive. And there's been rumors and chumblings going around that Donald Trump, within his first 24, 48, 72 hours in office, is going to sign an executive order relegating different positivities to the digital asset market. So we'll see if that is true or if it's just a rumor. Right now, it is just a rumor, so don't take that to heart and put everything into the markets itself. But again, congratulations, Tom Emmer. I think this is a pretty big deal. I'm bullish on that one. And lastly, before we get into Q&A, 2 PSAs or public service announcements. First of all, with us, let's be honest, with all of us doing so well in the market, I need you guys to make sure that you don't get screwed over by scammers and something happens. I've been talking to a lot of different people behind the scenes. That's why there's only so much time in the day to get all this stuff together. And I'm going to put together a safety video. And it's really going to help, I think, a lot of people just to remind it. It doesn't matter how much we make, it's how much we keep. And if we get scammed out from a plethora of different things we could do, I think it's going to be a very dangerous situation. The most common things, of course, are just phishing. And when we put this out, I'm going to start to really beat this in so people don't lose everything like a couple people have. But I have to realize, and let me know if you think this is incorrect, that it doesn't matter how much I do and how much teaching we do and how much you tell your family and how many videos we watch, people are still going to mess it up. There is just the way it is. And this is a prime example. So I'm going to do my best. I know you're going to do your best to help the people around you. But just remember, as much as you try, this is going to happen. This is from the Oscar race. I don't know what this is. But there's a story going around where a woman in France was scammed out of 830,000 euros after believing she was in a relationship with Brad Pitt. These are the photos she received, allegedly from Brad, that convinced her. This is I have two of my favorites. One is this one right here where he says, "Anne, I love you." It's very nice, very sweet. And this one right here where he's actually in surgery with eyes closed. And, nothing screams genuine than these types of pictures. So I'm going to do my best to help people. Hopefully you will too. And hopefully we don't get people screwed out. But there's going to be the people out there that just will not take advice. And that's going to happen. And lastly, I want to say thanks to everybody who has gotten into the Tomato Coin IDO over on MinSwap. We had Adrian on yesterday. And it's going to do real well, I think. And that's going to allow people to trade and go from there. But that's it for today. So look, like today's video, with a thumbs up, consider subscribing when we talk about is time sensitive. Now, let's get into a little Q&A. I'll answer all your questions the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. So, where are we? Actually, how believable is that story? I don't really know if it's believable or not. But when I worked in home healthcare, I can tell you like this. I knew a lot of elderly people who lost their entire life savings. Not entire life savings, I would say a big chunk of it. And this was back in like the early 2000s. And this would be like people saying, yeah, there's a person in, Minnesota and they needed money. And I thought I'd be nice to them because they had the same name as my granddaughter. And I wired them some money, never saw it, that type of thing. Or, yeah, I gave what I thought was the electric company my debit card or my credit card, and they ran it all up, and now I have a $30,000 bill, or my bank account is frozen. And you just talk to me like, well, why did you believe that? It just happens. So like some of these stories are kind of goofy, but trust me, from experience, I can tell you that people get run down, people get tired, people get fatigued, people get confused, and they just do stupid stuff. And that's really what it comes down to. And yes, there is a special place in hell for scams. I mean, look, scammers are the lowest form of life on the planet. And like I posted today, I said, even cockroaches and mosquitoes, they're part of the circle of life. Spiders and different things eat them, and they're like for the food chain. But scammers are just the leeches of society, and I despise them greatly. So anything we can do to stop this would be great. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Wooder says, do you provide liquidity? Lend profits on Aave as passive income? No. That sounds like way outside my pay grade for Tomato Coin. Tomato Coin is a gamble, and it is a meme coin. And we're not going to put that on Aave and do things for like yield and stuff like that. Too many things can go wrong. I'm not here for that. Tree says, Tomato Coin is the future. Fine, how to get in. There's a link in the description. And we go over, where the IDO is, MinSwap, and how you can get a hold of it, and then the history about it. What do you think about Theta? I was huge into Theta, and I still have tokens. I don't really know what they're going on. I think they have an AI play in general, but I need to kind of catch up on that, not just hold the token. And then there's one more thing about tokens and holding tokens. When we talked about yesterday about Cardano, not a very popular video, I might add. I mean, not very popular with anybody, because there were some negative things said, there were some positive things said, and of course, the negative gets amplified as well as the positive, because the positive part of Cardano, people that hate Cardano, push that down. The negative part, people love Cardano, push that down. But there's one thing that concerns me, which is the tokens, the digital assets, the things that we have. Like, are we using those, or are we just buying and holding and doing nothing with them, just hoping that somebody else buys them up and we can dump on them? And it's not a very popular opinion, but I'm just curious, like how many people like actually use it on like a daily basis and use it on like a DEX to buy something else, or to transfer it into like what other type of asset that you need. I mean, besides staking and stuff like that, I'm just curious, like what people use it for. That's why I'm really excited more about like the AI DePIN play, like with Aether. I'm excited about the telecommunications play with World Mobile Token, and then rolling out a nationwide telecommunications plan for talk, text, and data for United States citizens. And they're actually going to go out more so. And what they're doing, like I see that, but in some of these, I'm like, are we just holding and buying and holding and just waiting for price to go up and dumping? Just curious. Thanks, Rob. That's a good question. I think Ed also had this question too. Thoughts on alt season? Will be the usual 10 to 20x or quieter? No, I think alts haven't run. I mean, they've done pretty well so far, but I think alts haven't really run up. And I think once we start to, here's the catalyst. The catalyst is Bitcoin goes above 100K again. The catalyst is any talk about the Bitcoin strategic reserve in any form or shape that it takes. Either it could be we're just going to hold on to the 208,000 Bitcoin that we have, or we're going to be able to have people pay their taxes state by state in Bitcoin, or we go to the craziness, which is the United States government starts to buy Bitcoin. I put that as a low probability part. Regardless, one of those three happen, we're off to the races, because then people start to go, hey, Bitcoin, that sounds good. My coworker, son, daughter, wife talks about that, whatever. And I should get into that. Oh, I'm going to go on the exchange. Okay, well, here's Coinbase, here's Binance. Let's see, what is it? What do they have here? Wow, Bitcoin's $125,000, $150,000. I can't afford that. What's this other thing? Ethereum, 5,000? Jeez, I can't afford that. What's the next one? XRP, $5? Okay, that sounds pretty good. And Solana, I heard about that one. It's like what, $500? It's kind of pricey, but maybe a couple of those. And Doge, isn't Elon doing something with that in the government section, Department of Government Efficiency? I don't know the difference, but it looks like it's 98 cents, so I'll just buy a bunch of those. And that's what I'm talking about. I think people have no idea what they're buying into. They just look at it and go, well, I can't afford 150,000 Bitcoin, but I can afford this stuff. I don't know what it does, but I'm going to buy it. Come on. How many of us didn't get in like that? All right. Ashley says, I don't care what a certain blockchain does. It's nothing but numbers. It's fair. Let's see. Phantom Wallet, by far the best on-ramp for on-chain. Yeah, it's a pretty good wallet. It's just works out great. Okay. Blue says, hey, Rob, seeking your feedback on the company Blockchain Unmasked. Totally legit. Yep. They are legit. Actually helping my friend right now. And we did an interview with them, but I can't air it now. We have to wait another 2 months. But interesting perspective that I got. Interesting perspective, especially about the hacks in the cold storage devices. That's all I can say. And no, it's not because of the cold storage device error or fault. It is user error. And the things that people are doing, pretty bad. Pretty bad. I'll just say this. If you have written your seed or mnemonic phrase down on anything but a piece of paper, you're going to get hacked. That's it. If you put it in a text, if you put it in an email, if you put it into some type of password, encrypted, blah, 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 online or someplace in the cloud, you're going to get hacked. You're going to lose everything. If you have ever done anything outside of that, all your crypto is gone. That's it. And maybe the hackers don't get to you. Congratulations. But if it was me and you wrote down your mnemonic or passphrase any place else but a piece of paper that is now hidden somewhere that nobody has had access to for years or however long you've had it, you need to unload that crypto. You could either put it on a hot wallet for a little bit or a exchange for a little bit, and you need to reset your entire cold storage device. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a great website. It's mine. Sorry, that was a little presumptuous. There's a pretty good website. It's danteachescrypto.com. And when you go there, it's free. It's all the best stuff that I've ever put out. And there's one section there just called Module 2 Safety. And it goes down the list of everything you need to know to make sure you don't get screwed over. Go there. I don't even charge you anything. I just charge you one email. I don't even spam you. Cowboy heard that my keys run on my mattress. That's cool. Yeah, Leroy says, no seed phrase or physical wallet required for ICP. That's great if you only have ICP. Why is it that most of retail hates? I don't think most of retail hates XRP. I think it's a lot of people in the crypto community that despise XRP because they see it as like, oh, Ripple is working with the government agency to do a CBDC. I hate their guts. Or they're working with the banks. I hate their guts. Look, I want the 10 as big as we possibly can get it. So for XRP, if they want to do that, and Brad Garlinghouse and everybody, go for it. Don't, that's fine. And then when they figure out the rest of it, then we'll be right here to help them. Hello, I'm new to your channel. Love to hear your thoughts on ADA and SWE. Think it's a good time to buy. Would you recommend waiting for a better trip? If you were me, I were you, because I can't give you investment advice, I'd be buying a ton of it. I'd be buying, ADA is a good one, but I think SWE has, well, actually, SWE's actually run up, but maybe SWE's the next Solana. Who knows? And ADA, like we talked about yesterday, ADA is good. It's the most secure. It's fantastic. It's great, right? Never been down. Great. Good, great foundation. They got to build. They got to build on that, and they got to build up. Can they do it? Time will tell. And that's pretty much it, everybody. So I want to make these a little bit shorter. Again, keep things a little bit snappier. If you don't like how short the Q&A is or the news part is, let me know in the comments section, and I will change it, and we'll do it the other way. This, I think, is the way, from the feedback I've got, to move forward. But I could be wrong. So tell me if I'm wrong. Everybody, that's it for today. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.